Hey, what's poppin', family? We back. Welcome to Rosedale Park, episode 4. And my community, we have a few things we like to talk about. But first, let's get the business out the way, man. If you go ahead and tap that subscribe button and hit that bell notifications to let you know when I'm dropping. And I'd really appreciate it. We're on our road to 1,000 subscribers. So subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Family, community. Anyway, we going to jump right into it. And as always, my name is Scotty V, and we going to keep things positive. You know what I'm saying? Positive. we going to jump right into accountability. And I know you're thinking that it's going to go somewhere, but let me land. Let me get this off. There's a conversation had on in the space. And shout out to the Grits and Eggs podcast. Of course, shout out to all the content creators that are giving social commentary, a message on their podcast. They're not just in there talking about bullshit, a bunch of arguing and just trying to get clicks. And I understand that, but if you're not really saying nothing, I mean, why are you doing it? I digress, man. We're going to talk about accountability and more specifically for my young brothers and fellow men out there. Are we accountable for how other men treat women? Are we accountable for how other men may overreact or mishandle rejection, can't control their emotions effectively, and which can lead to dangerous and volatile, abusive, violent situations to women? More specifically to black women, but to all women, they get put in these situations with men who can't control themselves and control their emotions and have these violent and abusive outbursts, whether it be physical and emotional and verbal. Am I accountable for that? And he on that podcast, they posed they made a statement that resonated with me, and I struggled with it, and I had to sit down. I even had to pray about it. Am I accountable for another man's lack of emotional stability or emotional fragility that he expresses with women? If I'm going to be honest, I don't think I'm accountable for that. What I am accountable for is being able to understand how women have experienced men. Not in all situations, but some. I wouldn't say most, but some. A lot. Too many. Let me say that. Too many men have a problem with dealing with rejection. I would agree with that. Too many men are emotionally fragile, and they do things that men should not do, like abuse women and put women in harm's way and danger, and even worse situations come from that. I don't agree with that at all. I believe we have to understand them, and when they do certain things or act a certain way, we should understand that they may have experienced men in a different light. So don't take it personally. Understand why they protect themselves in this way, why they react in certain ways. It's funny. We have to understand that women have been through a lot. A lot of women have been through a lot. We have to build our understanding and know the why. Be accountable for that. But what I will not say is that I'm accountable for another man's fragility. How can I be? I got so much on my plate, and I got to worry about how every man can't take no, can't just be a player about it and move on. Now, I don't know how I would. I can give as many speeches and use this microphone to say, hey, yo, you got to know how to take a no and take a L and move on and dust it off. But at the end of the day, they gonna do what they gonna do, man. So how can I be accountable for that? I can't be, because It's out of my control. It's literally out of my control. You can say till you blue in the face on how you should treat women, but can you really control it? Can you really control it? And then you gonna put yourself under that stress about what this dude do because he weak. He got a weak ego. I just don't think, man, accountability is a poor choice of words. If I'm being honest with you, I can be understanding. I can advocate. I can really advocate, really, but I won't be accountable for another man's actions. I will not. I didn't get down in any kind of gang, any kind of clique or nothing. Criminal organization. I didn't get down with none of that. For that same fact, I'm not going to be accountable for your stupidity. How is that fair to me, man? I ain't do nothing. But oh, they all see it's the same, so we should be accountable for the wrong that the group does. That's just a false equivalent, man. Like, no. If it's my child, if it's my brother, okay, man, I have a direct line in them. My father, but even then, you your own man at some point. I mean, when does it stop? When do we can educate and advocate that men do right? That's what we can do. My shoulders are strong, and they can carry a lot, but they will not carry the mistakes and the sins of another man. I do too much wrong myself. Man, you gonna have. Anyway, man, like, let's just watch this word accountability. You're accountable for yourself, for your community to an extent. For yourself all the way, to your community to an extent. If you're doing everything that you can to improve the situations and the progressiveness or lack thereof in your community, I think you're accountable for that. But to each man's action, man, that's heavy, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That's a raw deal. And just to segue into something different, have you talked? Man, listen, man. I'll be 34 in about 3 weeks, and I was talking to somebody who was 30 years old, and I thought it was just kids that do this, but it's just, it's just. I think it's weird, but it might be just where the world is. I've been really craving, really, really wanting a PS5. I don't even play games like that, but I've been really wanting one. And I was talking to this dude, and he was telling me, he's 30 and he does this and that. And I was like, do you have a game system? He was like, nah. I had a Xbox One or Xbox 360 old. And he was like, nah, I wouldn't really play, but I watch it on YouTube. And I was like, you watch what on YouTube? I watch people play games. Like, I watch them play the game, and it's just as satisfying. Now, that may be weird to me, because I told my kids in my class that would just watch the video games instead of, I said, do you have that at home? No. I just like watching it. You like watching somebody else play the game. First of all, everybody should be accepted. I'm not judging nobody, but I think that's a message in itself. You like watching somebody else play the game instead of actually playing it yourself. What? Just like I dated a girl that liked watching the people eat. Like, I forget what that's called. What is that called? I don't think it's ASMR, but you know that word where you just sit there and watch people gorge on food. That's the weirdest. I said, bro, are you hungry? No, I just like watching it. We like watching other people live their lives, and that includes social media. We love it. Reality TV. There's a reality show on every block, on so many channels, because we enjoy watching people live life. Am I the only one that's a little scared by that? You watch it. Anyway, he actually had something else to. He's at a crossroad where he wants to actually go back to school, and I was telling him, you go for something. He's 30, and he wants to maybe try psychology, and I was telling him, well, if you don't plan on getting a PhD, psychology really is limited in what you can do to it, in some extent. Now, if you get a psychology degree, maybe get a cert here, you can do a lot. Certifications go a long way, especially with psych degrees, with a lot of degrees. But I was telling them, always remember what IT's doing, science, the whole STEM family. Look into that. See if you would like something in that field. Also business. And I hope I didn't discourage him, because he's in a situation where he's in a job. Now the job pays good, which is good, and as I'm always preaching, episode 2 and 3 is much better than hustling. It's much better than trying to get it off the street. So, I kind of beat him up for that. Big everybody up for just doing what they got to do to pay their bills, to live a decent life. But here's where building a plan comes. If you really want to go back to school, and really ask yourself if you really want to go back to school and you just don't want to grab a trade. And if you watched episode 3, I listed a whole bunch of them that we are not, in my opinion, we don't have the amount of percentages in some of these fields that we should. Being skilled black men from back in the day, that was a thing in the 50s, in the 60s, the 40s, having a skill, having a trade. And it provided for huge families. So I always told them, look into that. Figure out if you really want to go back to school. And if you do, be smart about it, because it's your money. And he was telling me his job's going to pay for it. So I was just like, man, make sure it's worth your while to spend that time studying, the tests, the tediousness, the reading. Don't get so locked in on I need to go to college, and then you get out and you don't know what you're about to do. I mean, like I said, build a plan. I made that mistake. And here I am trying to keep other young brothers from making the same. Have a plan, and understand that. I told him, once you get there, understand the aesthetic, because by that time I'm explaining to him, his partner came over and was listening to me, and he's you get online and you see all these conversations about dating and the lack thereof. It's hard. It's about how nasty the pool is, but in actuality, we are listening to a lot of people's, and not even a lot of people's, a slim amount of people's reality in dating. That does not have to be yours. And I'm not here to give advice. But as I said the last episode, once you get your plan and you work it and you step into a profession, and I don't mean you have to be in that profession forever. It's just you're stepping into a profession that will build a good foundation, a good structure, and you have that, that innately gives you confidence just as a man. And I was just sharing, like, once you have that confidence and this is what I do, this is what I wake up and do, and this is purposeful because I'm going to use this money to eventually work for myself, to become an entrepreneur, to retire by 45, 50, not have to worry about what we gonna do since there's no gonna be no social security. Having that nest egg, that a 401k that won't be drained, having an IRA, having a Roth, having all these things that you could live off of and live well, and see the world and experience the world for what it has to offer. Especially as I want that so much for my brothers and my young brothers especially. But when you're dating, man, once you have that, I promise you it's easy. You become naturally more confident. And with that little change in your pocket, you can start to be more of a gentleman who courts and has something to talk about. You know, they say women love a busy man. Women love a confident man who has things going on, who has his priorities in order. And yeah, you got that money in your pocket. Now you work in your plan. You got your degree and you got a good starter gig, or you got your trade and you know, like, you got your first couple of checks, or you worked your first 2 years, and now you really got your own place, got a nice little whip. Boom. Now you meet this chick, you meet this little shorty, whatever, and you know, she fine, she bad. So once you get your stuff, you own your stuff, they gonna come. I promise you, they gonna come. Where I want us to be careful at is you date who likes you naturally. You don't have to convince, because once you get into convincing, you can make a mistake. You can do CPR and apply pressure to somebody's chest that may be choking. And you can apply pressure enough to help, or you can damage somebody's sternum. You can damage somebody's chest. You can make it worse by applying too much pressure. That pressure word they always talk about, sometimes you can apply too much pressure. Be careful with that, man. Baby, I'm trying to save your life. I ain't trying to kill you, you know? I'm trying to apply as much pressure that doesn't make me look like a fool. So you got that money in your pocket. Yeah, you may have a stack to spend. And you know what kind of lady she is. You know how she get down. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that she's used to nice things. There's nothing wrong with women who are used to nice things. But if y'all ain't in no committed relationship, and you're courting her and you're doing, that doesn't mean you start trying to impress her with your provision. Because even I'm the kind of, if it's free, it's for me. If you just gonna give it to me, it's gonna be hard for me not to take it. So she's gonna go. Some women are gonna go as far as you willing to pay. And you see all these videos on social media where these dudes is really liking a chick. You really like her. You've been wanting to get with her. She give you a chance. And she's seeing how far you will go. How much you like me. How much you like me, nigga. And you just peeling them off, right? You peeling them off. And I like, bro, I'm someone who when he was dating, loved to see a woman have a good time. It ain't about me being able to take her home, because the type of I am, When she ready to come home, she gonna be over there. She gonna be over here. I'm gonna be over at her place. It ain't even about that. I just like to see women have a good time. Specifically, the pretty ones that I've dated. But it comes to a point you like, you gotta ask yourself, man, do she really like me, or she just like I'm the time I'm providing? And you have to be accountable. It ain't her fault. You have to be accountable for how you spend your money and how you are ignoring things that are right in your face. You have to be accountable for you playing the fool. And don't get on the gram, or don't get on TikTok talking about how these women need. No, player. You was off your square. And once you off your square, all things are, you fair game. You fooled out here, man. You can't be playing these women. These women are highly intelligent, driven, and some of them even cutthroat. You can't play with like that, man. I'm sorry, dude. But that ain't her fault. That's your fault. You got to stay on your square. And you got to be accountable for your own actions. You know what? She might stop talking to you, but she'll respect the fact that not only was he a professional man, he got something going for himself. He didn't let me ring him out. He ain't let me take him to the cleaners. And she probably won't talk to you again. Or she might. 10% chance. It depends on how you take that rejection. Sometimes you take rejection on the chin. At the little spot, you're like, I'm good. Oh, okay, no problem. Have a good night. It's a very slight chance. Now, I'm not telling you it's a good chance. It's a very slight chance. She might double back. And then boom. And now she got more respect for you. I told him no. Or I gave him an ultimatum like, I like to pay bills. You gonna buy me this? You gonna buy me that? And you're like, nah, baby, but you are beautiful. There's a chance she might double back and say, man, okay, I respect that. What you want? You know? And then you go from there. But we got to be accountable for being a lame. For being fooled. I ain't going to say the S word because I ain't red pill. But you green, champ. And you accountable for that. So, yeah, that was interesting. And man, you can ball on a budget and court a woman that likes you. Remember, she got to like you. You ball on a budget. You give off that professional aesthetic. It don't matter what you do. Just let her know, man, I got business to handle. I got a plan. And you even got to let her know the in-depths of the plan until y'all move into a certain point. But you move like that. Move with confidence. Move knowing that I am Mr. Such and Such. I do this for a job, for a career. I have other things that I like. I have hobbies. I have goals. I have travel plans. I got things I want to see in the world. And you move with that confidence, and you be accountable for the situations you put yourself in. Especially when you're dealing with money. Especially when you're dealing with these beautiful women out here. Because there's a lot of them. And of course, a lot of them ain't going to try to, bleed your pockets. But the ones you got to be prepared, man. And be understanding. That might come from some level of trauma she's experienced. Be understanding. Be willing to listen. But only be accountable for what you do. And since we're going to touch on one last thing, my nose really itching. Dang. Last thing I wanted to say about accountability. Fraternities. And I'll go deeper into fraternities and why I joined a fraternity. I pledged a fraternity and such and such. But fraternities, we have to be held accountable. And we know about, I'm not going to say which fraternity, but we've seen stories. This is not the first story of somebody being tragically killed during a process of initiation into a fraternity. This is not the first story. So I don't even want to highlight. I want to highlight Caleb and my condolences to his family. But as a fraternity, a lifetime fraternity member, this has happened before, and it's happened too many times. We have to ask ourselves what we're doing, and Ricky Smiley actually spoke on it as well. What are we doing? Now, trust me, I'm someone that advocates for it don't need to be so many initiates at one time, and I won't speak on sororities because 225 is crazy. But fraternities, I think 30, 20 is crazy. This is specific for collegiate men who are stepping in and trying to change their communities, be a high performance in the classroom, in the scholastic realm, being a man of character, men of distinction. Frats got to get back to that. And you know, I pledged to the point where it started turning into a popular contest. You think that you being in this frat gonna make Lil Mama look at you, and it ain't. For the brothers who want to go to college and want to pledge, it don't turn you into nothing. You make the letters. The letters don't make you. You don't magically put them on, and now the rose-colored glasses that all the baddies got on, they take them off and like, oh, you're what's a what? Oh my God, do you want my number? That ain't gonna happen, champ. You is what you is, and I know that's not grammatically, that's poor syntax and diction. You are what you are. You was what you was. You is what you is, man. Them letters ain't gonna change. Diddly squat. You feel me? Nothing. You was a weird ass nigga before, excuse my language. You gonna be a weird ass nigga with letters. Now, fortunately, that wasn't my story, and you know we'll get into more about fraternities. I just wanted to say we have to be accountable, man. Not only these wrongful deaths and hospitalizations, but we got to be accountable on who we letting in these frats, bro. And I mean all frats, mine included. We got to start. Come on now, G. Come on now, my brother. And it ain't just the ones who you know would be popular and they make the line popular. No, it's also the ones that got the really good grades and they don't need to be there either. There's got to be a good balance. That's why it don't need to be 28 dudes on the damn line, man. Like, what is we doing? What is we doing, man? Let's be accountable for what we doing. Let's all frats refer back to what their founders wanted to start these organizations for. And let's get back to that, man. It could be so beautiful because these frats were started at a time where black people really needed them. They really needed community. And they were in so many of our fraternities, and I mean NPHC, black Greek letter organizations were instrumental in the advancement of our people. And if we don't get back to that, I don't think they should exist either. And I'm proud to be in my fraternity. But if we not going to get back to that, there ain't no point in having them. And nah, we ain't worshiping the devil, man. I ain't never worshiped the devil in my life. I ain't never pledged my life to my fraternity. Where y'all be getting it from, man? If you want to denounce. And that's, I'm going to stop there. If you want to denounce, man. I serve one God. And it ain't my frat. So, you don't believe me, you ain't got to. I ain't really explain myself to folks that I don't know. But, anywho, Uh, yeah, man, accountability. Let's be accountable. Word of the day, accountability. Word of the day. Anyway, man, yeah. It's been a busy week, but, as I said, I found myself listening to some new music. And me and my partner hit me on the gram, and we were talking music, and he was like, Leon Thomas, who is phenomenal. Let me preface that with Leon Thomas album and his album before. He's had 2 albums come out. They've been awesome, bro. Straight heat. I mean, really a whole vibe, and I hate saying it like that. But he was like, he's on a generational run. Generational run. He having a run now. Like, he on fire for sure. But generational run? That's what we giving that to? I didn't, bro. R&B right now, and as I said, I'll get into it in the next episode. R&B right now is in a good place. It ain't in the best place. I'm still wondering where the voices is at. Where the voice is at? The singers. Like, I like the little mid-high falsetto that the R&B dudes are doing. I even saw R&B boy group coming back, and that's I'll get to them and shout out to them as well. But where are the voices? I ain't saying we got to beg neither, but where's the content? The women not in love and they running around here trying to do their thing and run through y'all because y'all not singing about love no more. Y'all singing about the most toxic shit in the world. And wondering why the women doing us dirty. It's on y'all, man. I'm putting a lot of it on the R&B singers, man. You boys got to come with it, man. Y'all got to make them believe in love again. Generational run. Y'all got to give me something that ain't talking about how much of a fuck you are. Anyway, man, that's my time, man. I'm always trying to get y'all out of here early, like I'm preaching or something. But as always, as I said in the beginning, man, appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification button. Follow me, Scotty V, on every social media platform that's in existence. Just search for the name. That's Scotty V with a K. You dig? As always, man, be accountable for what you do. Try to make your community better and your surroundings better. And man, take it a day at a time, dog. As always, man, peace to the last.